Leadership, rightly understood, is not about elevation, it is about orientation. The Stoic leader stands not above others, but within the storm with them. Marcus Aurelius led not for applause, but for Rome. His perspective was not confined to the throne but expanded by duty. He wrote not edicts, but reflections, to rule himself first, before ruling others. Today's leaders are tested not by battlefields but by pressure, fast decisions, swirling opinions, expectations that stretch and constrict. The Stoic remains centered. He does not lead for image. He does not grasp for control. He sees clearly, leadership is stewardship, a role, not a reward, a responsibility, not a possession. Perspective allows the Stoic to step back, see beyond ego, and view today's challenge through the lens of time. What matters 5 years from now? 10? What serves the greater good, even if it costs in the short term? When emotions like anger, pride, or fear surge, the Stoic leader doesn't suppress them. Instead, he uses them as a compass, guiding his actions. He doesn't let these emotions dictate his decisions, but rather leads through reason, not reaction. His leadership is guided by principles, not popularity. The Stoic leader doesn't demand perfection from himself or others. Instead, he values fidelity, wisdom, justice, and meeting the demands of the moment. When the noise of emotions and external pressures grows loud, he returns to stillness, because it's in stillness that he sees what truly endures. In a world of endless signals, clarity is rare. Noise multiplies. Opinions clash. Identity frays. The Stoic walks through this not untouched, but undistracted. He carries a compass, not built of slogans, but of enduring truths. His ability to maintain balance in the face of chaos reassures those around him and instills confidence in his leadership. To live with balance is to live with presence, not to resist the world but to meet it from within. The modern man is pulled in many directions: succeed, perform, prove, endure. But the Stoic asks a simpler question: what is mine to carry? What is mine to release? Masculinity, too, sits at a crossroads. Some seek to harden it, others to erase it. The Stoic does neither. He refines it. Strength, for him, is not dominance or silence. It is restraint, awareness, integrity, to feel deeply, but not be driven blindly, to stand, not above others, but firmly within oneself. Emotions are not flaws, they are signals. Anger speaks of injustice, frustration of friction, sadness of loss. The Stoic does not mute them. He listens. He names. He asks, what is the wise response here? Not the easy one. Not the loud one. The wise one. Balance is not a perfect stillness. It is the ability to return. When thrown off, you return. When pulled away, you recenter. Like Marcus amid empire, like Epictetus in chains, you turn inward, not to hide, but to ground. This resilience, this ability to return to center, is what makes the Stoic leader a source of inspiration and motivation for those around him. In this way, balance becomes resilience, not brittle, but flexible. Not armored, but aware. A way of walking steady through a world that often forgets how. And now let's draw 12 principles for the Stoic. Principle 1. Embrace the greater good. The Stoic life is never lived in isolation. True fulfillment comes not from private gain, but from our contributions to the shared fabric of humanity. In the eyes of the Stoic, to act for the greater good is to anchor your life in something larger than ego, ambition, or recognition. This commitment to the greater good is what inspires and motivates those around him. Leadership, whether in politics, community, or family, is a sacred trust. It demands the sacrifice of personal convenience in service to collective well-being. We are not here merely to protect our own interests, but to uphold justice, wisdom, and care where it is most needed. To live for the greater good means your success is measured not by what you keep, but by what you offer. Not by how high you rise, but by how far your integrity reaches. This perspective transforms ordinary action into moral duty and elevates service above status. Principle 2. Master the inner world. The most difficult terrain to govern is not a nation, a company, or a crisis, it is oneself. In a world of distractions and external pressures, the Stoic turns inward. He watches his thoughts. He interrogates his impulses. He shapes his mind with the same discipline an artisan brings to stone or steel. Mastering the inner world is not about achieving calm once, it is about practicing calm always. It is knowing how to meet provocation without being provoked. How to face disappointment without crumbling. How to rise each day not to chase outcomes, but to shape responses. In mastering your own perceptions, you discover your truest freedom, the power to determine your stance, no matter the storm around you. This is not retreat, it is readiness. The well-trained mind becomes the fortress from which all strength flows. Principle 3. Take responsibility for your actions. The Stoic does not wait for applause when he succeeds, nor does he point fingers when he fails. He meets each action as his own, owned fully, examined completely, and corrected when necessary. To take responsibility is to refuse the comfort of excuse. It is to see yourself not as the product of circumstance, but as the craftsman of your conduct. Leadership demands this. So does adulthood. So does the pursuit of virtue. Even in error, the Stoic sees an opportunity to reflect honestly, to grow deliberately, and to carry forward with greater clarity. When you take responsibility, you reclaim your power, not over others, but over yourself. That is the only power that endures. Principle 4. Cultivate emotional intelligence. Feelings are facts of experience, not facts of truth. The Stoic recognizes emotions not as enemies, but as energies to be understood. Anger, fear, joy, grief, they are all teachers if we learn to listen without being led blindly. Emotional intelligence is not the absence of emotion, it is the mastery of response. It is the ability to pause before speaking, inquire before judging, and act without impulsive heat. In leadership, in relationships, in self-governance, emotional intelligence becomes the bridge between wisdom and compassion. You do not become less human by mastering your emotions. You become more whole, more grounded, more capable of acting from virtue instead of reactivity. Principle 5. Embrace suffering as a teacher. Suffering is not an aberration. It is the raw material of transformation. The Stoic does not seek it but does not resist it when it comes. He lets it speak. He lets it shape. To suffer wisely is to let the pain strip away illusion and sharpen perspective. It is to ask, what part of me needs to be refined? What am I learning about my strength, my values, my threshold? Suffering tests us, but it also reveals us. And in meeting it with courage, not despair, we grow in ways comfort never permits. The Stoic sees in hardship a forge, and he enters it not to burn, but to be tempered. Principle 6. Seek clarity, not comfort. Comfort deceives. It whispers of ease, numbs discernment, and weakens resolve. The Stoic does not seek pain, but he refuses to be seduced by ease when clarity is at stake. To seek clarity is to walk through discomfort willingly, into hard conversations, honest reflections, uncertain decisions. It means asking the questions others avoid and sitting with truths that sting. The comfort seeker grows soft. The truth seeker grows strong. For in clarity, even when it hurts, we find alignment. And from alignment, we find peace, not shallow peace that depends on silence, but real peace born of having faced what is. Principle 7. Do not be defined by external circumstances. The Stoic walks through applause and criticism with equal poise. He is not elevated by praise, nor is he undone by loss. He understands that what is external can only define you if you surrender that power. Titles may be given or taken. Fortune may rise and fall. Public opinion may shift with the wind. But the Stoic's identity is rooted elsewhere, in values, in virtue, in the quiet choices made when no one is watching. To be unmoved by circumstance is not to be indifferent. It is to be internally anchored. When the world is loud, he returns to silence. When outcomes fail him, he returns to effort. He defines himself not by how the world sees him, but by how he shows up when it matters most. The Stoic knows that only what comes from within can last, and that is where he builds his foundation. Principle 8. Respond with reason, not react emotionally. There is always a gap, a moment so small it can be missed, between what happens and how we respond. The Stoic lives in that moment. He protects it. He widens it. Within that space, he finds freedom. Emotional reaction is quick. It is loud. It feels like strength, but it is weakness dressed in urgency. The Stoic does not suppress emotion. He sees it, names it, and then chooses how to proceed. To respond with reason is to meet insult with restraint. To meet chaos with clarity. It is to act not from the sting of ego, but from the core of principle. You do not deny anger, but you do not serve it. You do not reject fear, but you do not obey it. This is composure, not stillness for show, but steadiness from depth. And in that steadiness, the Stoic leads. Principle 9. Live in alignment with your principles. Principles are not decoration. They are structure. They are not situational. They are constant. The Stoic lives by them, not when it's easy, but especially when it's not. To live in alignment with your principles is to accept that you will often stand alone. That virtue may cost you something. That choosing what is right may mean walking a narrower road. But the Stoic does not measure ease. He measures integrity. When faced with uncertainty, he returns to what is committed to: wisdom, justice, courage, temperance. These are not words, they are guides. They shape his actions, filter his decisions, and give coherence to his life. A Stoic may bend with circumstance but does not break from principle. It is the one thing he carries through every storm, and the only thing he needs. Principle 10. Cultivate gratitude, even in adversity. Gratitude is not a mood, it is a muscle. The Stoic trains it daily. Not only when life is smooth, but especially when it is not. He knows that even amidst difficulty, there is always something to honor, something to hold with quiet thanks. Gratitude reframes the day. It shifts the gaze from what's missing to what remains. From what's broken to what is still possible. The Stoic does not pretend all is well, he simply chooses to see what is still good. He gives thanks for the opportunity to try again, for the lesson hidden in the mistake, and for the strength revealed in the struggle. Gratitude doesn't remove the burden, it makes it easier to bear. And over time, it becomes a lens through which life is seen more clearly, not as something owed, but something received. With humility. With reverence. Principle 11. Recognize the impermanence of life. Nothing lasts. And that, to the Stoic, is not cause for despair. It is the foundation of appreciation. To remember that all things pass is not morbid. It is clarifying. It sharpens the moment. It softens attachment. It returns you to what matters most. The Stoic looks at his days, work, and relationships and asks, if this ended tomorrow, how would I meet it today? That question guides him. Not to rush, but to revere. I want to show up fully because there is no promise of later. Impermanence is the hidden companion of every joy, every success, every breath. It is not an enemy. It is a mirror. And in that mirror, we see the shape of what matters. The Stoic lives not to possess, but to participate. not to hold tight, but to hold dear. Principle 12. Choose leadership that serves, not self. Leadership, to the Stoic, is not a pedestal. It is a place of weight. A space where the self must shrink so others can rise. It is not about being seen, but about seeing clearly. It is not about command, it is about care. The Stoic leader asks, "What is needed of me here?" Not, "What do I gain?" He acts from responsibility, not recognition, from principle, not position. The Stoic knows leadership is a moral task, whether in politics, family, business, or friendship. It is measured not by influence, but by impact. Not by visibility, but by service. So he leads with humility, clarity, and a willingness to sacrifice ease for what is just. He is not perfect, but he is present, and in that presence, others find strength.